Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to have a discussion with you all. First, I want to start off with a dream that I actually had 2 nights ago. So, this particular dream is very short, okay? Um, I happened to be in a room with an old friend of mine. And there was two beds in a room. I was in one bed, she was in the other bed, right across from me. And I had my cell phone in my hand and I was watching a YouTube video. And on this video there was a pastor who was clearly almost towards the end of his sermon because he was sweating. Everybody was very excited at this point. And what he said was, he was preaching and he was like, yes, I know that um, I was married to my wife for many years, and yes, I divorced her. But the fact is, I'm gay. And he was like, so what if I got caught sleeping with a man? So what if I turned out to be gay? He was like, the Most High established it this way. He was like, God established it this way. And he was like, this is just a part of my test. This is a part of my testimony. And the crowd, like everybody that was in the church, he was like, amen. Everybody was, amen, pastor. I mean, they was excited. Everybody was hyped. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, I could believe it, but I couldn't believe it at the same time in terms of how everybody was hyping him up. And so I looked over at my friend, my old friend at the time, because she actually had referred this person to me. In my dream, I knew that she had referred this person to me, like she had sent me videos of him in the past. And when I looked over at her, she was knocked out asleep. And in that moment, I thought she would be sleeping at a time like this because in the 3D, like in real life, this friend was someone who would kind of debate me, not kind of, but she would always debate with me in terms of my spiritual path and how, you should never question a pastor and regardless of what they do, yada, yada, yada. And so I woke up and, I was thinking about it like, wow, that's crazy, because whoever this pastor was, it was a black pastor, okay? And he had a mega church. Like it was a lot of people that was in the church. Probably, I don't know how many people would be in a mega church. Maybe about 5,000 people. And all of them was like really cheering him on for what he was saying. And even the music, the background music, the drums, like it was like everybody was doing what was necessary in order to create this atmosphere, this energy that would be supportive of what he was saying, okay? And it was working. And the first thing I thought when I woke up was hypnosis in the church, okay? People are being hypnotized through the drums, the music, the excitement, the energy of other people. And so it led me to do this particular message because I hadn't been thinking about doing anything like this for it was going to be a while before I actually got back to the subject of the church. But since I had that dream, I'd have to assume that this is where it's guiding me in order to bring some clarity in regards to specifically the black church, though, because I feel like it has affected the melanated man and woman on a much larger scale than it has other groups of people. Not saying that it hasn't affected them, but I feel like the target, the aim has been specifically at the melanated man and woman. And so I want to see how it has affected us. And I'm going to be using the cards because I want to pick up on the energy. What is the energy that's being projected out into the universe behind this particular structure? And one thing that I also know is that most of you can probably relate, especially if you're melanated. You know that you can go to almost any black community in the United States and you will see a church literally on every corner. Like you'll see one house, two houses, and then a church. Another two houses, and then a church. Then a currency exchange, and then another two houses, then a church. Maybe a beauty supply, a fast food restaurant, a mom and pops. Then you're going to see another church. So I have never seen more churches in a neighborhood than I have in the black community. And so I feel that there is a agenda behind that, okay? Especially being that many of these communities, especially the ones that I know of, because I've been to multiple states, the ones that I know of, lots of times these churches are placed in communities where there's a lot of poverty, low income, okay? But yet there's a church on every corner. And so there's always an agenda. Trust and believe the enemy always has a strategic plan, a reason for placing certain things in particular places. There's a reason, okay? So I do want to get into. I got a few different decks out here, and I'm going to be clarifying with multiple decks. But I got some questions. So I'm not really sure how the homosexuality, in terms of the pastor coming out and saying he was gay, ties into this. I do know that we have been seeing that there has been this. My dream could maybe mean that there might be some sort of predominant or a well-known pastor who may be coming out to let the world know that he's gay, or who may be found out and then he's going to have to express it, or explain himself to the church some kind of way. But I do know that it is, in terms of the actual image of Jesus, the white image of Jesus, that does bring on a very emasculating energy. That's the energy that that image projects. And so, being that even if you're in a black church that doesn't necessarily have an image of a white Jesus, we do know that the church itself, the establishment itself, the root of the church in the United States of America was built on the false image of a white Christ. Okay. And so, because we know that that image, even when you go and look at the pictures that depict the white Christ, it's always a effeminate looking Caucasian male. Okay. That's holding some sort of hand signal. Sometimes it's one of these, or, something like this, some sort of hand signal in the picture. Okay. So everything has a meaning, but I just want to get into the first question that I do have here is, how is the church affecting the black man? Then we're going to look at how it's affecting the black woman. Then I want to see how it's affecting black unions. Then I'm going to be looking into the community as a whole. And then I want to know, where's the tithes going? Okay, because I think that that's very important to know, especially being we have so many black churches throughout impoverished communities where people need help, but yet these churches are filled every Sunday, sometimes Saturday and Tuesday, maybe a Wednesday here and there, and people are giving their money when they go. Okay, they passing that basket every time, before I can even move forward. You see the 9 of swords down here, okay? So that's stress. But yeah, people are tithing. They're giving their money to these churches every Sunday. And so where's the money going? That's the important question to ask, okay? So let's see. How is the church affecting the black man? How is the church affecting the black man? This is all about the church structure, the hierophant here, okay? This will be the pastor, and this will be the, what do you call it? The members of the church, okay? Watching very closely, monitoring. Maybe the church allows for the U.S. corporation to do a lot of monitoring of people, especially of people's income, because I noticed that over time, now the churches have like ATM machines. They want to make sure that you have access to your money. So they have ATM machines. They have, I remember back in the day, you would have to write down your name, how much you was tithing, and it's supposed to be anticipated that it's a 10% of your, I guess, your weekly or your bi-weekly pay. You would write how much you was giving, for what part of the church fund you was giving it, okay? Things like that. So let's just see. How is the church affecting the black man? Because I don't know. We'll just see what is the energy of the church and its effect on the black man. Okay, so it's something about, hangman, something about keeping him stuck in the past where he's not really able to move forward. It's something about making him, the Ace of Swords is in the reverse. I just heard sacrifice, okay? but it's keeping him stuck where he's not able to expand. He's not able to grow, okay? Now, I'm not talking about every single black man, okay? But we're talking about the majority when in terms of looking at the energy. This is affecting many of the black men in a way where they end up stuck because there's something about not receiving the truth. The Ace of Swords is lies, okay? Not receiving the truth and stuck in the past here. Stuck in the past. How is the church affecting the black man? I'm going to clarify these cards with a different deck so that we can get a little bit deeper and see what's going on here. How is the church affecting the black man? I got the Page of Wands coming out in the reverse. So that's bad news, okay? So let's see. What is this? Trying to think. I'm gonna use this deck right here. I'm going to clarify the Six of Cups in the reverse. What does that mean for the black man? Staying stuck in the past, maybe feeling as if he can't outgrow something. Yeah, maybe outgrowing conditioning, a certain tradition, because it's been passed on throughout from one generation to the other to the next, and so he's been probably in the in the church structure since childhood. Okay, all right. So the Emperor landed in the reverse. The Emperor in the upright is someone who's able to take charge of their life, able to create their own foundations. They make their own decisions. The Emperor is his own boss, okay? He creates foundations and structures. He doesn't need anyone telling him what to do because he is the Emperor. But in the reverse, it's like, it's almost what I'm hearing is like it's keeping him in this boy-like state where he feels like he has to be given instruction, direct instruction on how to live his life rather than taking his power back and creating that structure within and establishing his authority. I'm hearing that it emasculates the black man, okay? The Hangman. What is the Hangman? The Hangman is the Queen of Pentacles. This could be this could be the black man feeling as if financially, because I know Pentacles deal with finances. It could be him feeling as if financially he's not able to create a solid foundation for himself. And it's also what I heard was that it's something about him feeling like the church actually places the woman in higher regard than the man. Even if they don't necessarily say it per se, it's something that maybe the black man feels as a whole, that the church keeps him stuck in the past and keeps him from stepping into his manhood, his authority, taking his power back as the emperor. But it's something about, let me clarify this again, see what else comes out here. The Hangman. What is the Hangman? The Magician. I think the black man ends up feeling as if his counterpart, the black woman, is somehow placed on in higher regards in the black church. There's something about manipulation here too, okay? There's something about him. There's something about manipulation here is what I'm feeling with the Magician coming out. I told you when I saw this Hangman, I see sacrifice, okay? Because you do recall, if any of you watched my other video, Christ was used as a ritualistic sacrifice. I spoke on how, scripture says that Yeshua, the black man, the black Christ, the black Messiah, was hung from a tree. That's how he was killed, okay? He was hung from a tree, not the depiction that they put on the movies where they say he was hung on a cross. No, he was hung from a tree. Multiple scriptures reference that. And so there's something here where I feel like it's something about uplifting the black woman and manipulating the black man to sacrifice him, though, to keep him stuck, to keep him from stepping into his power and his authority as an emperor, as the leader, and creating foundations for himself. So what is this Ace of Swords in reverse? The Ace of Swords in reverse is the Two of Swords and the High Priestess in the reverse, okay? So definitely not being able to listen to his intuition. The truth is not being told here, and so it keeps him at a crossroads because he feels like he's blinded to the truth. Okay, Ace of Swords in reverse is lies being told. And so it's something about him being at a crossroads, not being able to see which direction to go in, but feeling stuck at the same time because, yeah, I feel largely a lot of black men end up in the church because their counterpart, the woman, if she, let's just say she's the breadwinner, okay, because this is the Queen of Pentacles. She's financially secure, she's stable. She is going to be the one that's going to encourage him to go to church. And if you're talking about a black man who feels emasculated, who feels like he has no power, he's not able to grow, and he's at the mercy, I guess, so to speak, of a Queen of Pentacles who is potentially the breadwinner. And she's saying, well, hey, I want you to come to church with me. Then it's almost like he feels like he has to. But at the same time, many of these black men don't feel as if they're being told the truth because it leads them, it keeps them in this energy of being at a crossroads, and feeling like they're blinded to the truth because the High Priestess is someone who's not intuitively or spiritually connected, not able to hear the spiritual messages that are coming through. Also, I mean, this is taking me back to a couple of my videos in terms of the one that I did about the strategy of the enemy, the spiritual strategy of the enemy, where I spoke about the chess and how the queen on the board is the one who is able to embody the moves of the rook and the bishop. And the bishop is what deals with the religious structure. And so the Queen of Pentacles here, oh wow, this just actually spoke of the game. It actually brought the game out because the Queen of Pentacles is the one that's able to make the moves, the most moves on the board, okay? She's the most powerful, and the king on the board, the queen is the most powerful in the chess game, and the king is the most valuable. And so the religious structure in terms of the church, the way that it's affecting the black man is that it's keeping him in a place where he feels stuck. And if you recall, if you go back to that video and I spoke about how they're using the chess game as their strategy in the spiritual realm, the king on the board, the king in the chess game can only move but so many spaces, like front, back, side to side. So he's very limited on how many moves he can make and how far he can go on the board. But the queen, however, is able to make multiple moves. She has her own moves that she can make, and she can make the moves of two other pieces, which is the rook and the bishop. And so being that the bishop deals with the religious structure, it's something about him feeling as if he's at the mercy of this queen here, because he's not able to have his power, his authority as the emperor. Okay, it's something about stripping him of his manhood and keeping him stuck in this childlike energy, where she is being lifted up, maybe even somehow having some sort of financial advantage over him, and he just feels stuck and at the mercy of others, while the queen is not seeing things clearly because she's also being manipulated with the magician here, okay? So they're both being manipulated, but the black man particularly is being manipulated through the queen. The queen is being brainwashed and manipulated, and so therefore she manipulates the black man. And so with the high priestess being in the reverse, generally the high priestess would be the queen, okay? Because the feminine energy is generally the one that possesses the direct connection spiritually in terms of being able to hear the intuitive messages and to give like spiritual messages. The spiritual messages generally come through the female, okay? Because we're more in tune with our emotions. But I feel that the church structure actually puts less emphasis. You know, you're not going to hear much about listen to your intuition. You know, they might say, well, listen to the spirit, or maybe they have another way of saying it. But I feel like the church more so encourages people to be more drawn to receiving messages from their pastor or from someone that's in a higher place of authority in the church versus taking your own, going within, having that direct connection to the Most High and being able to establish, how you should move and what you should do from going within. They don't encourage that, okay? So it's like you feel like you're at the mercy of the pastor or the minister, the deacon, whatever you want to call them. But the queen, I feel like the black man feels that the queen, she becomes more focused in on materialism, more focused on the surface of life, and less in tune and connected spiritually, where she's able to hear those messages to actually be able to guide and give directive on a spiritual level to her, to the king, okay, to the black man. And so he feels very, very confused, okay, at a crossroads. I feel maybe even at a spiritual crossroads, because there's something about feeling torn between two paths, because it's like, well, this is the traditional way of doing things. This is how my mother did it. This is how my grandmother did it, great grandmother, aunts, and then the masculine, the men generally just kind of follow suit in terms of where the woman is going on a spiritual level for the most part, okay? And then I think he's the black man is feeling as if he's not being told the truth, okay? But he doesn't know how to get up out of this, because if he's in that position where he's emasculated, he doesn't know how to regain his power and his strength. He's not the breadwinner. He's not able to establish his position within the household. Then he feels like he's at the mercy of whichever directive his woman might take, or his wife. Now, what is what is the Page of Wands in reverse? Because that's not good news. What is the Page of Wands in reverse? Feeling uninspired. Page of Wands in reverse in terms of how the church is affecting the black man. Page of Wands in reverse. I got the Sun and the Justice here. So this is like, Page of Wands in reverse is not so good news, okay? But I feel like it may... it might inspire him to feel that he may be able to get some sort of justice in spite of the bad news or the bad things that's happening around him. Maybe he feels as if he may be able to get some sort of justice through or balance out maybe some of his karma if he goes to church. A lot of people do it under pressure because they feel like, okay, well, I've made a lot of bad decisions. And so being at in this crossroads, not knowing which direction to go in, I feel like the black man, a large part of the pressure is feeling like it's actually helping him to live out some of his karmic debts. It'll actually help to balance things out if he goes to church. But at the same time, he feels disempowered, okay? And so this is why he ends up stuck and feeling at a crossroads here. Let me pull from this deck. How is it affecting? How is church affecting the black man? Ooh. Sexual perversions is coming out, okay? Ooh, right at the bottom it says lustful behaviors. So sexual perversions and lustful behaviors. when I started off with this message, I was telling you all about my dream in terms of the pastor who came out and was saying, well, yes, I've been with my wife for a long time. But he wasn't just talking about it like he was confessing. No, he was preaching it. Yes, I've been with my wife. Amen. Amen. And yes, I'm gay. Amen. But the Lord, that type of preaching, okay? It wasn't something where he came up and was expressing his, his remorse for what he had done to his wife. No, it was more like, this is what it is. I'm still the pastor. Y'all still gonna hype me up, and you're gonna still say amen regardless of what I'm teaching. And so sexual perversions and lustful behaviors, I told you all in terms of the Christ, the white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, who was the image for the actual painting, the illustration of the white Christ that the church is founded on in America. Okay, that particular image gives off the energy of emasculating the man, homosexual type of energy. Now, don't come in my post talking about she's against gay people and all this and that. This is not what this is about, okay? I'm telling you how energetically the church is affecting the black man. The message is telling you how it's affecting him, okay? Both of these are here: sexual perversion and lustful behavior. So the lustful behaviors, it may take him to a space because he feels like he has no power. That the church is predominantly filled with women. Okay, that's most churches that you go to is mostly women. And so it could keep this this lustful energy going within him. I'll tell y'all a quick story. When I was in, I think I was about 7, about 8 or 9 years old. I had this babysitter that I would go and I would stay at her house at overnight sometimes. And there was this particular prophet that would come into town. And this prophet was known to go to like mega churches. His name was well known. I'm not going to mention his name today, but whenever he would come into town, she would get very excited. And one thing that I noticed is that she always would put on leopard print. That was what she wore to church. And it was always like just different pieces of leopard. It'd be a leopard hat. None of it matched. It all looked a hot ass mess. Okay. Leopard this, leopard that. But I remember one time when he came, she put on a leopard cat suit. Okay. And I mean, she had a nice figure, but she put on this leopard cat suit. It was sticking to her like paint. And at this particular, the prophet that would come out, he would hype up the church. He would hype up the members by saying, I remember he would always say, okay, I'm going to count down to 3, 3, 2, 1. And when I do that, I want everybody to take off running. I want you to give the biggest shout, do the biggest dance. And so people would start wilding out. The moment he counted down, he would go 3, 2, 1. And this babysitter that I had one time that we went, she had on this leopard print outfit, this cat suit. She got down on her knees and literally crawled all the way around this big ass church. That was her way of giving praise. Now, can you imagine a woman with a skin tight leopard print bodysuit on, crawling on her hands and knees around the church as a way of giving praise? Okay. And do you think they stopped her? No, they didn't. Okay, she was around there crawling in her leopard print. So I can see why lustful energy would be very, tempting for the black man. And then the sexual perversions that can also deal with just the homosexual spirit of emasculating the black man. So let's move on to, because this is going to be a long read and I'm going to have to do a part 2. I can already see it. How is the church affecting the black woman? How is the church affecting the black woman? I'm cutting the deck. There's the Magician again. Okay. The Magician and the 5 of Swords. Okay. Manipulation here. All right. How is the church affecting the black woman? All I'm doing is reading the energy. I'm asking the questions that many people have. Many people should have it at this point, because it's like if the church has not been able to effectively, being that there's one every other block in the black community, if it clearly has not been able to effectively create peace and stability within the black homes, okay? But there is one on every corner in the black community. And so we need to know death came out here, okay? Ten of Swords is right behind that at the bottom of the deck. So this would all be dealing with transformation. Transformation, okay? So death and rebirth, transformation. Ten of Swords, that's betrayal. Ten of Swords is a painful ending. How is it affecting the black woman? So we have the Empress in the reverse now. Remember, the Emperor came out in reverse for the black male. How it's affecting the black male. The black female, the Empress, is now in the reverse. Five of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like there is able to bring them out of this grieving energy, okay? But at the same time, the Hangman is here. It still keeps them in this I feel like it keeps them in this stuck energy at the same time. So I'm going to clarify these and see what this means. What is death? What is death? Because the Emperor and Empress in reverse, the Emperor and Empress are divine counterparts. When they're in reverse, that means that healing is not happening. People are not taking their power back. People are not doing the healing and being able to establish their authority in the spiritual realm and in the physical. And it's keeping divine unions apart. Okay? The Empress in reverse is very insecure, but let's see. So death is Nine of Pentacles in reverse and a Six of Wands. Nine of Pentacles in reverse is being in a codependent type of energy, losing financial stability. But what I'm seeing here, more so than losing any financial stability, is codependency. I feel like it's a codependency on the attention. I feel like the church is affecting the black woman where there's a codependency on being cheered on by others, being applauded by others. A codependency on others' approval. That's what I'm feeling here, because I did mention in terms of how the black man is feeling, I mentioned that the black woman is put on like a pedestal in the church. And so I feel like there's a certain amount of attention, maybe a codependency on the attention, on the accolades or the approval of others within the church structure for the black woman. What is the Ten of Swords? Let's see. So the Queen of Pentacles is now in the reverse with the Four of Pentacles. What I'm hearing is that she's losing, it's like she's losing money. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, losing money. Trying her best to hold on to what she has, but there's also this energy of someone taking. So losing money while someone else is taking money. This is why I want to know where's the tithes going, because you know that being that the church, the black church, is mostly populated with black women, then you know that most of the tithes that come in are coming from the black woman. Okay? So it's important to know what you're supporting. But the Ten of Swords is like this betrayal. This betrayal, I feel, when it comes to manipulating her to deplete her financially. There's something about no stability. And there's also lack of self-love, lack of self-care. You got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the Empress in the reverse. Codependency on attention. and approval of others to be able to say that she's been reborn, because death, this card specifically, this death card specifically speaks on rebirth right here. Okay, death and rebirth. So she's able to receive this attention and these applause, something about being codependent on that, but at the same time being betrayed, maybe behind the scenes, where she's losing financially, and outside of the actual church, when she's not within the church walls, feeling very insecure, very ungrounded, blocked heart chakra, lack of self-love, lack of healing, all types of stuff is here in terms of the Empress being in the reverse. Now let me see, I'm going to clarify what is the Empress in the reverse. Okay, the Empress in the reverse is the Knight of Wands. I feel like there's a lack of self-respect that ends up happening. You know, even if this is not intentional for the black woman, there's something, because we saw the Magician come out a couple of times, okay? I cut the deck at the Magician, and it also came out when I was speaking on the black man and how it's affecting the black man. The Magician, there is manipulation, okay? I'm talking about in the spiritual realm, where these people are using the energy of the church structure itself to place dark magic, spells, curses, generational curses over the black man and woman, specifically is who I'm talking about at this time, through the church structure. And so part of those curses is to keep the black woman from awakening and from healing from the past, from all of the betrayal, and to keep her in this energy of being codependent. So yes, she ends up having this codependency on being applauded, losing a lot of finances, while I feel the church is taking, okay, and if you could see behind him is a lot of buildings here, okay? So let's just say this was a representation of the black community. None of this money is actually going to contribute to the black community, nor is it going to contributing to this woman who is feeling financially depleted, okay? And so there's something about this energy of lack of self-love causes her to be more promiscuous. Okay? Lack of self-love causes her to be more promiscuous. Now, I know that many of you, yeah, Eight of Wands, okay? Eight of Wands. In the reverse though, so not being able to move forward, stopping her from being able to move forward, to progress in multiple ways, emotionally, spiritually, financially, mentally, not able to progress and move forward, staying stuck in this energy of I'm reborn, or maybe a fear that if she was to lose her life, that as long as she could say that she was within the church structure, in spite of her actions, in spite of lack of self-love, in spite of all of these things, there's a fear that we know is placed over people within the church that says, well, if you don't do certain things a certain way, then you'll go to hell. But at the same time, there's a manipulation. There's something that's causing her to have a lack of self-love to the degree where, let me just see, what is the Knight of Wands? Because I'm hearing being promiscuous. What is the Knight of Wands? And obviously, yeah, because what we saw for the black man, it came out sexual perversions and lustful behavior. So he got to be doing it with somebody in the church. He got to be picking up, the energy has to be heightened in some type of way for him to feel those types of feelings in the church. So what is the Knight of Wands? What is the Knight of Wands? The Knight of Wands is Temperance and the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords is here twice, okay? This is all about betrayal. Both of these cards is the Ten of Swords, all about betrayal. Being stabbed in the back here. Temperance is all about healing, trying to balance things out. So this could be because we have the Empress in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. The black woman is feeling as if the church is somehow healing her from all of the betrayal, but it's not doing anything to improve herself, her own inner healing, okay? But it is helping her in terms of trying to balance out the betrayal that continuously happens, because the Empress in the reverse is going to constantly be in a hamster wheel of karmic lessons. The Queen of Pentacles will stay in a hamster wheel of karmic lessons. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse, which is codependencies, codependent energy, you're going to stay on that karmic wheel of negative karmic lessons, because this is someone who has not healed enough to know how to establish healthy boundaries for herself, or to not allow herself to be surrounded by certain types of people, places, or things. And so she looks to the church to be her way of feeling validated, okay? This is where she feels like she has some value, is in the church. But outside of the church, still dealing with all of that same pain and betrayal. And so it's like a cycle. You go to church on Sunday, you feel great because everybody is applauding you. You feel good. You know, maybe you was able to get into the spirit more this Sunday than you was last Sunday. And, you know, everybody is there, you know, and they or you might be with the choir. You might be on a church board or something like that. But then you leave church after that Sunday service is over. You go back home feeling like the Empress in reverse. Still lacking self-love. Still no healing. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Still dealing with financial issues and lack of self-care. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Still dealing with codependent energy. And still dealing with much betrayal. Still taking many knives to the back. And not able to move forward with the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Not able to move forward out of that energy. So she goes to church in an attempt to heal these wounds, in an attempt to come out of this energy of grieving. But it's like by the time she get back to church the next Sunday, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday that's taking place. All in those days, she's dealt with all of this pain, all of this trauma, all of this lack of self-love, lack of self-care, doing things that make her feel bad about who she is. Then she comes back to church on Sunday, and suddenly in that moment, she feels like she's been reborn, like she gets another chance. So church is actually creating this illusion of security. It's creating this illusion of coming out of this cyclic turmoil, but it only happens when she goes to church. There's no healing that's really taking place here. Let me pull from this deck. How is the church affecting the black woman? Then I want to look into the partnerships, and then I'm going to jump down to where are the tides going. And I'm going to see about doing a part 2. You all let me know if you're interested in seeing a part 2. But I might just do it anyway, because I feel like this is a very important topic. How is the church affecting the black woman? How is the church affecting the black woman? Oh my goodness. This says weaken the man or woman. Okay, that's what that says. Weakening the man or woman. What did I tell y'all with the Empress coming out in the reverse and the Emperor coming out in the reverse? That is not allowing people to heal and to take their power back and to establish their own authority in the spiritual realm or in the physical. And then this says disconnect from spiritual nature. Now, you do recall when I spoke on the black man, how when I spoke on the chess, let's get back to the chess, disconnect from spiritual nature deals with